Hello everyone, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. So we've gone over, if you're following, we've gone over Air Force, unarmed flight, regulation drill, then Marine Corps, unarmed platoon, and now we have, I don't know if this is regulation or exhibition. But this is Army AJROTC, and I can't get the image any larger. This is it. So it looks like this. Yep. Nicely done. Love that step off. Cool. What a great opening statement. Although execution there wasn't as good as it could have been. So you've got the slap step going, but not a consistent application of technique throughout the team. Spacing, though, spacing was what I was going to bring up there. The execution there, that was nice. So, however, let's look at feet. So she has the left foot forward, but it's out to the left. Everybody else, well, and then it looks like she does too, but everybody else has right foot and then left foot forward, and that is a much better stance, a much more solid stance. Having the left foot forward, definitely great, but having it out away from the right just doesn't really work all that well. And then obviously then we have an inconsistent application of technique here, just with the two, but it needs to be addressed. That was nice, Army strong. I appreciate that. So this is a move called beta. There's alpha, beta, delta, gamma. So, I appreciated the move. I also appreciate the march through into a different technique that works really well. But the spacing there, the execution with the spacing, and alignment also now, it just leaves, it detracts from the overall performance. Nicely done there. And reversing through. Interesting. But again, alignment is an issue here. So that detracts just a little bit from the performance. It's really good to split up, give the audience something to concentrate on, and go back and forth and see what's going on, see what might be different. So if you split up just to split without actually using the split, then there's a question as to why. So with the team, let's go back a little bit here. So you really didn't use the split as effectively as you could have. Now, why does, when the commander says ready, why does this rank here move forward? Why wasn't the team spaced out in order for her to call the command immediately? So, and calling voice commands, actually any signals really, for an exhibition routine, it kind of detracts from the presentation. It's not horrible, definitely. I mean, you can do this. The higher level that you go, the fewer commands, and eventually the silent performance is what you want, relatively speaking. So you halted, but the alignment just isn't there. Technique looks to be nicely done with the angled marching there. Really appreciate it. It works. Now, an angle like this at a 45, it can be very difficult to maintain alignment. So you have, how can I do this? Yeah, so you have, this is usual alignment, and then here, but the alignment is still through the center of the body. All right, so you may have a tendency to do this wherever you're marching, whatever direction you're marching, because you're used to something like this. So if you're marching this way, then you tend to move so that you're behind somebody, because we're just not used to this type of an angle here, and it shows with the alignment. Yep, you can see my cursor. All right, so with the alignment here and here, it shows that it's a pretty difficult concept to understand, and this could be early season, and the team then eventually, this is several years old, but the team then throughout the performances with regular practices could have gotten into much better, much more clear performances, and that's clarity is what you want in formations like this. You want to communicate a clear, not necessarily a message, so to speak, but you definitely want clarity in your routine. Oh, it's very difficult being in the center and then wanting to watch everything, but your eyes can do better than a camera, and it just makes you seasick going back and forth with the camera. So ripple technique works well here. Honestly, well practiced, well rehearsed. So the team marching into a cordon, that's fine. The cordon is definitely well placed, although it's off to the left side. Much more effective had you actually centered the formation. So it's something to consider when you write drill. You want the cordon, and this is what this is called, two lines of people facing each other. You want the cordon then centered so that you get maximum effect of the formation from your audience. Okay, love the pass through and going into the formation. That's awesome. That really works well. But you didn't use the cordon. You didn't use it at all. All you did was stand there and stare at each other. And well, actually, it looks like you're offset, which is fine. But the commander never marched through. You didn't do anything. See, with an armed team, they'll exchange the rifles. They'll have rifle spins. So it looks like and then having the commander march down while the rifles are going, it looks dangerous, and that's the riskiness of a cordon like that. When in all actuality, it's not as dangerous as some people may think, because there's a certain timing that is worked out, and the rifles are spinning well ahead of and well behind the commander as he or she marches through. But you need to use the cordon. The commander could have marched through, and you could have done all kinds of things. Bending forward, having stepping forward, having arms cross, and not just your arms, but I mean arms crossing over the center. That would have been a really interesting take on an unarmed cordon. That would have been really nice to see something very creative that you could have done with this, but you didn't use it. So there was no, just like the split, there was no need to do it. You split to split. So having a purpose behind the moves, that's something else that is looked at, or at least needs to be looked at by a judge. To see that is there a logical use of each of the the formations. But the pass-through was great. That was a really nice idea. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, ladies, let's go!
Nicely done. But the spacing, though, the spacing is very wide over here, and it's consistent. And I don't know, and it's usually just the three where the spacing is wider. And I'm not exactly sure why that's happening. Nice kind of a back step there. That was different and worked well. So you have more or less 2 circles.
You know it, let's go!
Boy, and you could have used them as well. So you had a more or less an outer circle and an inner circle. And maybe you're missing 1 or 2 team members. I'm not exactly sure. But regardless, the team could have, the idea that pops into my mind is to have the inner circle start marching and getting closer, so that the circle collapses, not completely, but then put the commander in the middle. Though, commander, you march towards the center. That would have been a perfect opportunity to have that outer circle collapse around the commander, but still march in that direction, clockwise or counterclockwise. And then having the outer circle then do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. And having both circles going on at the same time, opposite directions, I think that would have been very, very effective. So it's not just a we'll march to this position and do something, and then we'll march to this position and do something. It is a way to perform, and it can be appreciated by the audience, but a logical sequencing and a logical use. You have some really good logical sequencing going on, but not necessarily a logical use of the formations, or possible use of the formations. So what's the reasoning for the spread out here of the team? So you want power. When you reported in, you had power. Nice block formation, offset, everybody saluting in this fashion here. The unarmed, the left behind with the salute, the left step forward. That's great. That works well. But then for the report out, you have everybody scattered to the winds. So where's the power and the forcefulness and the lasting impression here? It's something to be considered for a report out. So this is it's a departure from what you had for your report in.
Yeah, ladies!
Okay. Yeah, the ending here just really didn't have much to hold the audience there. Now, of course, you've got parents and siblings and friends out there cheering you on, and you should. I mean, that was a really nice performance. You did well, but at the end, it just seemed to lack a certain structure. It was just, well, we've got this much time left, so okay, everybody go here, and then we'll report out, and it'll take some time to march off. Now that's most likely that's not what you thought, not at all, but that's what came across. That's what was communicated, at least to me. So I would expect a much more structured ending there. You had lots of structure during the performance, but then it just kind of petered out there towards the end. Well, anyway, though, I do appreciate the performance. I thought it was many parts were well thought out, and execution was in places lacking as far as marching is concerned, and then the spacing issue that I didn't understand there. That I don't know if it was consistent, but I also don't know the reasoning why behind it, why a certain rank would have a certain spacing that was different from the rest of the team. So more questions than answers in a couple of places, but still it was good thinking and well, yeah. I appreciate the performance. I definitely do. Thank you.